Welcome to the Elliott Confidential podcast. I'm Christopher Elliott. I'm here with my boys, Aren and Iden Elliott. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. How about you?
Oh, Iden, we missed you.
Yeah, I know.
You were in Vietnam last week. Tell us about it. Where'd you go?
I went to Ho Chi Minh City,
Saigon.
Saigon,
Yes.
and I went and had a good time with a friend of mine.
Uh-huh.
Now that sounds wrong. No, I say it like that. I was meeting up with a creator friend of mine. His name is Julian. Also goes by G-Man Curly. He's a very prominent YouTuber that I edit for. I edit his videos, and I went over to meet up with him, work in person a little bit, get to know him, and travel around the city, do stuff, film a vlog, etc. You could probably link the vlog actually in the post
I
for
could.
this week.
But I would love to know, because, just for the benefit of our audience, what did you guys do?
So we went to the Coochie Tunnels, and
You have to explain what Coochie Tunnels are.
So
for
yeah,
people who don't know.
The Coochie Tunnels are C-U with a sound at the top, and then Chi, C-H-I, space in the middle. So Coo-Chi, and they're the tunnels that the Viet Cong traveled around in to hide from the Americans. Whenever you see in a movie somebody with a little wooden block that they have on top of themselves covered in leaves, and then they go inside of a little hole, that's the Coochie Tunnels.
And you also, you had a whole military theme going here, because I saw a video of you and Julian firing M16s.
M60s.
M60s.
Yeah, but that's actually the funny thing. That's exactly what happened in the vlog. Is he said you want to shoot an M60, and I misheard him. I thought M16, which is the smaller gun that doesn't go automatic, and I'm like, oh, M16, yeah, we can shoot that. He's like no, M60. There, the machine gun, the big machine gun with the huge line of bullets. And I'm like, oh, that'll work too. And then we went off and shot the guns, and it was crazy. Like the M60 was it was an experience.
But you were there for a serious purpose, because you've been doing some editing, video editing, and in fact that's what you're studying right now in grad school, is just communication, and you've taken an editing class.
Yes.
So you've been using your skills to, and many of the skills, I should say, you've learned yourself on the job doing your own editing, but you're using your skills now to create these videos that are getting millions and millions of views.
Yeah, so in my program at the University of Florida's Journalism and Communications School, it's all about marketing with social media, emerging technologies, and also skills that are useful when you're on social media, working in social media, and just trying to make things generally to go viral. And one of those is video editing. So one of my courses, I learned a lot about video editing, and then on the job I learned a lot about video editing, and now I edit these videos that go out weekly to bi-weekly for Julian, and they all get more than 1 million views on average. And he also has a second channel with a couple of other editors, but I actually feel very privileged to be editing for his main channel, because he has a lot higher standards for that. So that's what's going on right now with editing, marketing, and just general creator stuff. And
it's very cool. It's very cool. And go Gators.
Yeah, go Gators. The college work has helped me a lot, and I'm hoping to learn even more on the job.
Yeah, well, so where are we now, Aren? Which country are we in?
Well, we are in the country of Cambodia.
Yes, the Kingdom of Cambodia.
Kingdom of Cambodia.
We got here earlier today, and we are staying at a place called Anantara in Siem Reap. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm not. I really butcher Southeast Asian languages. It's just a thing. What do you think so far?
Well, this place is really different from Thailand. It's flatter, but you have a lot more palm trees, and the roads are wider.
And they drive on the right side of the road.
They do drive on the right side.
The correct side of the road.
Now, as a video editor, you're constantly looking for good shots, Aiden. And I wonder, we haven't been to see the temples. We're going to see those tomorrow morning. But have you seen anything so far where it just screams out to you, you have to do a video on this?
Nothing yet. Really, what a lot of people misinterpret about videos, and if I did one about a location like Cambodia, it would be a vlog, is that the most interesting thing is the place rather than the things going on there. So really, when I look at it, what do I want to film, it's really, is this situation or what we're doing very interesting? Not, the place. When I start a video, it starts off with a thing that I'm doing rather than an establishing shot, because people don't really care on YouTube. People are very cold on YouTube when it comes to their attention spans. So really, you just gotta start off the video immediately with actions, with doing things, instead of establishing shots. So really what will happen instead is I'll be doing something and then I'll just say I'm in Vietnam. And they won't really care that I'm in Vietnam. They'll instead just see that later on. I'm going to be doing very Vietnamese things, like shooting an M60 and going inside Coochie temples.
I don't know how Vietnamese that is. But yeah, well, we'll have plenty tomorrow morning, and we'll report back next week on that. But tomorrow morning, we're getting up bright and early and going to hit the temples. We're doing a temple run. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm sure that we'll have plenty to video-worthy things going on. Maybe you can make a video about that.
Did you just say temple run?
Yeah.
Like the video game Temple Run?
Yeah, well, it's like a temple run, yes.
Yeah. We'll be running from gorillas along the temple.
But I've noticed, though, that a lot of Buddhist temples have cats. Like, they're really into cats. I don't know why, but we love cats, too. We miss our cats. Mm-hmm. And maybe we'll see some cats tomorrow. Maybe we'll get some cat shots.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I remember back, and I keep going back to Coochie tunnels, but Julian is a giant man, 6'4", and I remember I was just petting this cat like normal, and then he's like, "Oh, let me pet the cat. He goes with the cat. Cat runs for his life because Julian, he looks like a monster to the cat.
That brings us to this week's question. Have you ever encountered an animal on one of your travels that you later regretted? I'm talking about a dog or a cat that bit you or hissed at you, or maybe it was something more exotic like a snake or a spider, and you wish that you had not had that animal encounter. And I'm thinking about that not just because of Julian's encounter with the cat, but every year at about this time you hear about people who are at Yellowstone National Park and they try to pet a
bison
or a bear or something like that. They end up getting gored or mauled or something like that. So tell us your animal stories. We would love to hear them. And your reward is tomorrow. I will try to post some cat photos when we go to the temples, because that's the only reason we're going to Angkor Wat, is to see cats. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Or Buddhist temples.
Well, do you guys want to talk about, actually, Dad,
we should talk about what we did last week, because we got a lot of really great recommendations.
That most of which, unfortunately, weren't able to take.
We things got crazy last week. We had a lot of things going on, but we did manage to get over to the palace. And Aren, I would love to get your thoughts on that tourist trap.
It was fine. I mean, it's
beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's so beautiful. There are other places that are nice. The actual palace is not what you come there to see. Most of that experience is just this temple. Mm-hmm. I forget what the temple is.
Yeah,
next to it.
The jade Buddha or something like that. Yes.
Emerald Buddha. The temple of the Emerald Buddha.
We're talking about these temples. Really, the only two places that are really worth visiting, from my experience, and I think you guys can concur with me on this in Bangkok, is the Buddha, and aside from I can't see him, there's a couple of really good malls there that were near our location. But past that, it was just a city. It was just a regular old city.
Oh, Bangkok is filled with malls. It is like every corner has a mall.
I'd say that's the defining feature, is just shopping
where
malls.
we were. Yeah, it's. I thought that the palace was really overrated. Like it cost us quite a bit of money to get in. It was like, what was it, $15 a person?
Yeah, something like that.
Can't
And
disrespect
then-
the king. Don't disrespect him.
I'm not disrespecting the king, although we are not in Thailand anymore, so we can
We're
say
going back
whatever
soon.
we want.
We're going back soon.
Well, yes. No, but I thought that it was a little pricey, and although the temples, the palace itself was very well maintained, it was overrun with tourists. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just everyone was there, and they were all. I don't think they even really knew what they were doing. They were just taking pictures of themselves in front of the temple. It was. I didn't really get a lot out of it, and I would not recommend that people go to the palace unless you go there with a knowledgeable guide and you go there maybe at a time when not everyone else is there. So there might be a time maybe in the afternoon when there's fewer people there. We were there in the early morning and like around 10:30, 11, and it was just a mob scene. It was like Disney World at Christmas time.
Yeah, well, even though Bangkok is pretty overrated, hopefully our next location after Cambodia is not quite as overrated.
Yes,
We'll talk
we
about
will.
that soon.
We will get to that. We have a couple. We've got two more really interesting destinations on the schedule in Southeast Asia, and then we have another potentially big surprise coming up soon. We'll tell you about that soon. Let us not forget our question of the week, which is animal encounters. Have you ever had one that you regretted?
Yeah.
And that reminds me of Turkey, which is kind of where we started our podcast. Our podcast was only a few weeks old when we went to Turkey, and we saw a lot of cats.
Not every cat is friendly.
Not every cat is friendly, we noticed, yes.
Now, luckily, this wasn't me. This was Aaron's experience, but...
Aaron got swatted.
Yeah, Aaron.
Yeah, just once though. Just once.
Most
And
of them are very friendly.
And
They
that
treat
cat,
them very
yeah,
well.
right, they're very friendly. That cat looked like it was friendly. It was rubbing up against you, meow, 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 and then you reached over to pet it, and whack, it got you, and it got you with these razor-sharp claws, and you had a large, like, slice taken out
that
of you.
lash to this day. No,
To this
not
day,
really.
it's scarred.
I have actually no idea where it even scratched me because
got you good.
It's gone now.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, this is a great transition into the next topic, which is the SkyTrain.
Oh, yeah, because you and I went and took the SkyTrain. Aiden was busy editing, so he did not go. The SkyTrain is easily the fastest way of getting around Bangkok.
Yeah.
And
It's a lie whenever you look at Google and it says it'll take longer.
Oh, it's lightning fast. I think in the United States, we have this perception that mass transit can be dangerous.
Yeah.
And in Thailand, everyone takes that BTS SkyTrain, and it's very, very safe, clean, modern, and it reminds me a lot of the metro in Doha.
Yeah.
But I was shocked at how fast things went. It flies. Everyone is sitting in traffic, and the train is getting you there in just minutes.
It's really great, especially if you want to go see all the malls. I mean, it'll take you there. It'll really
It will,
take
yeah.
you.
It goes along all of the major malls.
It
right?
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
does.
it also takes you to the airport. I actually kind of regretted that. I was like, every time I went to the airport, I'm like, why am I taking this Grab car? I see the train right there. And I would go onto Google and search, how do I get back from the airport by the train? And Google didn't have it.
Yeah.
But the train was right there now. Obviously, it took you back into the city.
Yeah, I don't know. We've actually taken a Grab. Grab is like the version of Uber here, and it also works in Cambodia. It also works in Indonesia.
Vietnam,
And actually, it's really cheap. I mean, like getting a tuk-tuk here is $1. It's $1 to get across town.
Yeah.
But I figured, with all the luggage that we have, it's probably better to take a Grab than it is to get the train. Train is great if it's just you and no luggage.
Yeah. Grab is a very interesting concept because none of the locals use it. I mean, but it's still very, very widely used. Like, when I was in Vietnam, I almost exclusively saw foreigners picking up Grab orders because, by local standards, Grab is actually kind of expensive.
Oh.
But by our standards, it's very
You should explain that Grab isn't just, it's like Uber and Uber Eats. It's Grab, when you can call Grab and they will send, like you can get
Yeah.
groceries on Grab or takeout.
Grab covers everything,
Yeah.
just like Uber does. And so, like, I remember one time, and this is very funny that this happens in East Asia, because you'll walk around, everybody very Vietnamese. There's, it's as if it's untouched, and then just randomly here and there, you'll find an American with a family in Vietnam. And like, I remember I was walking into the apartment building that I was staying in Vietnam, and we were just stopped by this regular guy from probably like Massachusetts or something, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just got Jimmy's Pizza off Grab." I'm like, "Oh, maybe we'll try that." Good to see you, bud. USA. Love that. And
Yeah.
and they don't speak Vietnamese, but they're there, and it's just a little bit surreal.
These are expats. These
Yeah.
are people who live in Vietnam. They're not people who are visiting, right?
No. They live in Vietnam, but it's just so surreal because
Yeah.
everything is so Vietnamese, and then just randomly popping up the most American dude ever, and then they're getting their Grab, and you're just talking to them.
It may be too early to ask, but differences between Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
And how about Indonesia along with that?
Well, you could throw in Indonesia. Why not? Yeah.
I would say Cambodia and Vietnam are very similar, at least from the view of like being in a car. I took a lot of cars in Vietnam, wide roads, right side of the road, if my memory serves me correctly, just like Cambodia.
Right, and not Thailand. Thailand is still driving on the left side, and Indonesia too.
Yeah, and the roads are a lot less crazy here in Cambodia, and the same goes for Vietnam, unless you go way deep in the city. In Vietnam, we would just walk on the streets.
Yeah.
That's how calm it was there.
How about the food? I want to ask about the food since this is a really important part of what we do is eat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any thoughts about differences between like Vietnamese food, Cambodian food? We had a nice Cambodian lunch here, and then Thai food, which is really not Thai food the way that we think of it in the States.
When you eat Thai food, you eat Americanized Thai food. They do courses in Thailand.
And one of our commenters pointed that out. Yes.
Yeah. And I think we saw one of those courses happening. You guys were walking around. Did you talk about that?
No, we didn't.
I don't remember that.
No. Are you talking about like a course that Thai people are taking on how to Americanize their food?
Did you see one of those happen?
No, I don't think we did. But we had a commenter who said that that's what happens.
Okay.
Interesting.
Thai food in Thailand is not as good as the Thai food that you're used to, because the Thai food that you're used to is accustomed to the flavors and the tastes of
the palate.
It's country.
Right. They've adapted it to the U.S. palate.
And I love American Thai food. It's very salty, very heavily seasoned, very well flavored, and you eat it just
Yeah, but
really
you know
good.
what though? It's not just the Thai people who are doing that. Italians too. A lot of the American Italian food is adapted to the American palate.
Yeah.
If you go to Italy, they don't make it that way.
Funny enough, when I was in Vietnam, I only had Vietnamese food once. And then all the other times I had fusion food in the middle of the city. I had Japanese food, Chinese food, a mixture between Taiwan food and Italian food. And all of it was really, really good, but it was not Vietnamese. And the one time I had Vietnamese food, I had pho with a lot of cilantro in it. So I can't really say much about Vietnamese food.
And you don't like cilantro, but we know
cilantro
that.
tastes like soap to me.
So let's talk a little bit about what's coming up next before we sign off. And we're not going to read the comments this week because I'm a little bit embarrassed. We didn't do any of the things that people recommended. We really try, but unfortunately we're not able to do some of the silver lining is though we will be back in Bangkok, so there is an opportunity for us to do some of these things.
Redeem ourselves.
Redeem ourselves, yes. Vindicate, whatever. But we've got a couple of things coming up. We're going to be doing Angkor Wat tomorrow, and I'm very excited about that. The photos are going to be totally worth it. But Angkor Wat is like one of the greatest places on earth in terms of it is one of the number one, it is probably the number one tourist attraction in Southeast Asia. Well, I should say that this next week's going to be a little crazy because we are skipping between several countries. And I don't know how that's going to go. I always get a little nervous when, especially if it's a country that requires a visa applied in advance. And, you know, there's the whole politics, and I'm just a little concerned. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Overall, though, Cambodia so far is looking really nice.
Yeah.
Very clean, nice nature. It's like northern Florida we were talking about.
It does feel like, in terms of the way that it looks and the climate, it feels very much like northern Florida at about this time of year.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll keep looking around and give you our full thoughts in the next podcast.
Thanks so much for joining us on the LA Confidential podcast. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, everybody.